Hey guys, so today I wanted to quickly go over my split for my bodybuilding show that's coming up. So I'm currently in a cutting phase, but I want to put on as much muscle as possible, which everyone does. So day one of my split is chest and shoulders, and this will be every single time I do this, I have a warm up of band and cable. So I get here, here's one of my cables. So I literally grab one of these, got one of my straps in there, but get one of these and you literally just do that. Like go like that, and that gets your shoulders all ready. And then cable, you do some of these, lowest weight possible. You're warming up, you don't want it to make you like not ready for the gym. Like you don't want to get tired from these sets is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, once you get your warm up done, you move on to the main deal. But as a bodybuilder, you want to not do it, you want to stand away from flat bench, especially like someone like me. So my lower pec will grow astronomically faster than my upper. So the whole workout, so I have my notes here for every single workout that I do. So it's a bit messy because I'm in the gym, I'm literally shaking. I'm like, the test is like through the roof. But first step is I hop on incline dumbbell for chest, and no more than, I like 37.5 degrees because 45 degrees, my front delt gets too into it. So it's best if you have less front delt and more upper. So the sweet spot for me, everyone's different, so you do what you want to do, but sweet spot for me is about 37.5 degrees on the incline, and then I warm myself up. So you can see here that it goes 10 keg, 20 keg, then 27.5 kegs for incline dumbbell. So I just get into the motions. You don't want to go all the way up to your top set straight away. Then I move to 35 kilos, and today I only got 6, but normally I get 7. I said I was in a cutting phase, so this does make sense. So always start with incline. And another good rule of thumb that some people follow, others don't, is to do your pressing move first and then fly second. So most people do their pressing movements first and then they fly second, because flies, you don't want to go heavy because it's a really risky exercise. Because if you think about it, you're going like this, stretching, you could tear a bicep because your biceps aren't warmed up during chest. And if you go like that, it's good, but then once you stretch out, easily can tear. So you don't want that to be your first exercise, especially if you're not warming up. But I suggest, highly recommend the band and cable warm up. So cable like that, everything. Anyways, once you do your 8 sets of chest, so in this workout this morning for chest, I literally did 3 sets of dumbbell incline. Then I moved on to 2 sets of machine, so Smith machine, so the assisted, and then I moved on to the pec fly machine for 2 sets, and I did these shrug movements where you hold a dumbbell and you literally shrug, and it makes it so that you're like flexing your chest like it's a side chest pose. Anyways, then you move on to shoulders. On my chest and shoulders day for the split, I only train side delts. I used to do shoulder press and side delts, like 3 sets of shoulder press and move on to 3 sets of side delts, but that doesn't work for me because my front delt so much more developed than my rear, and my side needs work because I want to look as wide as possible on stage. So most people talk about an X frame, so your legs are like massive, and then the Dorito at the top, so it's an X. Lots of people have the Y frame, which isn't for me. I'm probably going to end up looking like that, but because my legs aren't big enough. But anyways, so shoulders, I only do lat raises. This can be cable, dumbbell, whatever, whatnot. anyways, moving on to day 2 of the split. So on day 2, I warm up band and cable the same, and then you move into back. I do more exercises for back because your back's bigger than your chest. Your chest is only here, your back includes your lower back too, and the entire thing. So you got your lats, and you got your traps, and you got all the mid back, upper back that you've got to train. So stuff like lat pullovers, where you get a cable and you go like that and squeeze, that will work out your lats if you do it properly. Other exercises, not so much. So always my first exercise is pull-ups for back. So I go straight into the gym and I do some pull-ups. Let me get this up here. So this is random day, the 8th of May 2025. So on this day, I walked into the gym, warmed up with the band, and then I went into pull-ups, 10 kegs times 6 reps, and I was 81.6 kilograms at that stage. So that would have been at the end of the day when my central nervous system, CNS, was woken up so that I could fully be in line for this session, not have any minimize. I obviously, every time you train, you will have risk of injury. Remember this, you will have risk of injury. So minimize your risk. I train at night so that my central nervous system is fully awake. All the calories are in me. I'm ready for the workout. So I was 81.6 kilos at this stage, and I did 10 kilos on top of that using the weight belt. I did 6 reps. Then I moved into body weight pull-ups where I did 9 reps, and then I did another 9 just. And then the next movement I move into usually is some kind of row. So with the row movement, I like doing some unsupported and some supported. So unsupported will work out your lower back too. And rows really only do like your full upper back. So it's a full upper back movement. And if you do it properly where you stretch at the end and try and like make it so that your lats go, it can be a lat movement. So this can be done through like barbell, pin loaded machines, and so forth. So I like to sometimes get a cable machine, do from high to low and really squeeze my lats, because that row movement does my lats like nothing else. Moving on to the next is lat pullovers. So a lat pullover is when you, sorry guys, whack the mic, is when you get a straight bar or an easy curl bar and you put it on the cable and you literally pull over. Some gyms have machines. You're very fortunate if you have one. Not many do. And then I move on to rear delts, where on this day I only did a dumbbell movement because it felt good. So I get the 15 kilo dumbbells and I literally go like that, and you can feel only your rear delt. Look in the mirror and focus on just your rear delt for these movements. I do 6 sets of that, and that fries them. Some people do 4, but I like to keep it safe with 6 because I walk out of there with a pump and it feels good. Like other people would say 4, but here I am. Moving on to day 3. So day 3 of my split is shoulders and arms. In my book, I always call it SARMs, but yeah, that's just something random I do because it's funny, because I am as natural as they come. But recently I've only been training arms during these days because when I'm cutting weight, my shoulders do have DOMs. Normally they don't have DOMs, so DOMs is delayed onset muscle soreness. I have to think about that one for a second. And what happens is during that time your muscles are recovering and you want the best possible recovery for your muscles. So I don't do shoulders during a cutting phase on this day as well because I'm experiencing DOMs, but usually I'll do 6 sets of lat raises again. Obviously warm up with the band and cable. You have to warm up every session to minimize your risk of injury. If you don't, you might get injured. It's always a possibility anyways, even if you do warm up, but warming up will significantly minimize this. My next movement's biceps and triceps. When I'm in a rush or I want a massive pump, I superset them. So I do one tricep set, so I squeeze my tris at the bottom of every push down I do, and skull crusher, I squeeze them so that it's like you're flexing them, like you're at the show. You want to flex it. This lighting's horrible for that, but anyways. And then I sometimes superset with biceps. Biceps always come second for me because my triceps are weaker and they're smaller than my bis. So you can see they're alright. You can't tell, but 6 sets of each. Moving on to that, I do forearms. The best way to train your forearms, I find, for me, this could work for you, is I get a dumbbell and put it on my leg, so like this, and then twist up, holding the dumbbell, and it fully attacks all of this area. And then I do 3 sets of that non-stop with the same weight. So I use 10 kilos, do this on one arm, move to the next, and then go back to the other. And then after 3 sets, I have about 3 minutes rest, or however long I take. I might be talking to people at the gym and it might take longer. But I move on and I do a dead hang, and holy crap, these hurt. So this is the hardest set of the week, guaranteed. So I did a 2-minute dead hang this week. Literally forgot to write it down because I was in a rush that night, but always do 2 minutes. I tried building up beyond that, but my hands literally give out every time at 2 minutes. Sometimes I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm only going to get to a minute 30, I'm going to let go then. And then I'm just like, no, 2 minutes, you got to hold it. Anyways, that's the best forearm movement, a dead hang. So you're literally hanging off a bar. It releases all the pressure from your shoulders. It's really good for you. Day 4. Okay, so I know you're skipping it, mate. I know you're skipping your abs day. People joke about skipping legs, and I know some people at the gym who actually do skip legs, and that's just not good for them. And if you're skipping legs, you shouldn't. But more importantly, I think you need to train your abs. So abs is really important because it's a supporting muscle of everything you do in your life. If you're holding groceries, it's your abs that are going to work as well as your arms and your back, because you're like doing farmer's carries. But I always start with 4 to 8 sets of abs on this day. So that entails first exercise is a leg to knee raise, where you're hanging off the bar, and this is sometimes really hard in my group because of the dead hangs, but I always use chalk at the gym I go to, and you hang off the bar and you raise your legs and do your abs, and then once you can't raise your legs anymore, you raise your knees. I aim for 20 reps minimum, so the first few reps, the rep range is around 12 reps for the legs up. I used to do all-way toes to bar, but I didn't feel it in my abs as much, so I stopped and I started going just up to about that angle, and then control on the way down. Anyways, when I'm in a rush, I only do 4 sets and I superset my calves with it. But after this, if I'm doing 8 sets, I'll do these things called dead bugs. And I'll explain them in another video, but I got taught them at my strength and conditioning for water polo in high school, and these are one of the king, if not the king of ab movements. Moving on to calves. So for calves, I do 4 sets, and studies have released that doing the bottom half of the movement for calves with the biggest stretch and not doing the top range of the motion is the best thing for you. So what I've recently done is I started getting like shin splints just walking around because I was doing the weight too much. So I got up to progressively overloading using this book. It's the best thing that I've used. I went all the way up to 160 kilos on the standing calf machine. It's a hammer strength one, and my left leg started getting shin splints just walking around. I was walking on the beach with my mate and I was like, this is not good. I've got to sort this out. So I put it down to 140 kilos, started doing the bottom half of the range because of people like, what's the science-based lifter guy's name? Can't remember him right now. Anyways, I do that, but I've only ever done 4 sets of standing calf raises recently for the last year, because when the standing calf raise isn't available, I will do seated calves, but there's like, imagine 3 layers to your calves. There's like the part that shows, then there's the inner, and then like your bone. So the inner part gets worked more when you're doing seated, so it's not as aesthetic. That's how I look at it. If you're going for athletics, do seated, but as well as standing. But I do 4 sets of standing simply for aesthetics. My calves aren't anything special. I'm not going to show them on camera because that's just a bit odd in my opinion. But anyways, moving on to quads and hamstrings. So during my cutting phase, I'm scared of doing big movements like barbell back squats because I don't want my back to go, because I haven't done them in a while, even in my bulking stage, main gaining, whatever Greg Dissett likes to call it. But my quads, I generally for legs at the moment, I've been putting quads and hammies together. So I start with a compound movement. So compound movements involve your squats. You can do it on a hack squat, a belt squat, whatever you want. Leg press, leave aside leg press. Don't use it. It's not the best for hypertrophy gains, muscle gains. People like Mike Thurston talk about this. But anyways, at the moment I've been doing belt squats to begin with, and I find these amazing. So I did 200 kgs for 10 on the belt squat. It's a techno gym one, so you can try and match me. If not, go higher. But obviously use good form. I used to put plates on there so I could squat down lower, but I figured out that I can still squat ass to grass, because that's how low you're meant to go when you squat, and go up and have good range of motion without putting the plates on top for more. Anyways, moving on, I do about 3 sets of that, and that's mostly a quad movement. Then I move on to 3 to 4 sets of leg extensions, and using my book, writing down every set, it's made me think, I only did 100 kgs on leg extension last session. Let's do 105 or 102.5. And I've built up, and at the moment I'm doing 115 kgs for about 12 reps. I used to do Tom Platt's leg extension with my best mate Xavier, and oh my, Tom Platt's leg extension. These hurt. So you get someone to push on the eccentric on you, and then you've got to push it up, and by the end of it, you're doing like a massive drop set. It hurts. You're not going to be able to walk downstairs properly. Your knees are going to give out, and it's the best for making gains in your legs. That's how I made my initial gains, and it's painful. You're going to sweat. Your heart rate's going to get high, even though it's not cardio. You're working out your legs. My legs used to cramp like nothing else when I did these. Anyways, I'd highly suggest to look up a Tom Platt's leg workout. I would go to him for most of my advice. Look, not all of it, but most of it. You can't take in all the advice someone gives you and follow it to a T. You can, but everyone's an individual. Everyone's different. You want to do you. So leg extensions, I do these reverse Nordics. If you don't know what a reverse Nordic is, if you don't even know what a normal Nordic is, I'd suggest to look that up. I can release another video on that if you guys want. Let me know in the comments. But anyways, I move on to reverse Nordics after that. And that's my finisher. So it's a big stretch on your quads. You're basically seated in like a kneeling position, but your feet are flat and you lean back as far as you can and then you go up. Okay, so for hamstrings, the big exercises here obviously are your curl movements. So you can use pin loaded machines, and then your Nordics. So Nordics are the best exercise for your hamstrings that were ever created. So I had a leg day yesterday and holy crap, my legs were sore. Anyways, that's my leg day at the moment and abs, and this is my entire split. But you guys are wondering, where's the rest days? So I used to not have a rest day, and I used to just keep going every day. But recently I've forced a rest day upon myself because I start work early, finish uni late on Tuesday nights. So Tuesday night, I'm not going to go and train. I'm going to focus on my recovery. So one time a week, let's write this down. So one time a week rest. So with this one time a week of rest, I'll just do the whole thing. But with this one time a week of rest, this allows me to hit each muscle group, apart from shoulders if I already trained them twice in the cycle. This allows me to do a full... I'm just wondering if my mic's on. Is it on? Hello? Oh, I almost had a heart attack, guys. Like, I thought this mic wasn't on. Imagine that. That would have been the biggest fail ever. Imagine I didn't even press the record button. Anyways, sorry about that. But one time a week I rest, and that's on Tuesday nights. And this allows me to hit everything twice every 8 to 9 days, depending if I do take the rest. So day 1, chest and shoulders. Day 2, back and rear delts. Day 3 is shoulders and arms, known as SARMs. Day 4's my abs and legs. So that's it there. But one time a week I do rest, because rest is the most important thing for muscle growth, isn't it? If you guys have any tips, I'd love to hear them. Let me know. And have a good one.